I'm very delighted to attend my first International Men's Day. The National Men's Day. I'm really excited. I want to see how men are supposed to celebrate their day. Men are pillars in their homes and wherever they are. And because they are pillars, I think they deserve to have certain days dedicated to them like this one. So today, I'm sure we are going to learn something that we have not learned before. I want to welcome you all that this is your day. Let's feel free. This kind of sessions actually add energy for us to be able to move forward. So let us build positive energy from here, and then hopefully we shall contribute to our families, and not only that, but also have positive energy for our country. At this time, I want to welcome Dr. Gishui Mwidera, who is the Director, Institute of Primate Research, to also give his remarks and invite the guest of the day.
Wazee mpo. I'm so happy to see my fellow men. Men are very important people in a family and in a society. And this dates from the Bible days. Those of you who read the Bible, if you read John 3:16, says that God gave his only son so that you can be saved. And that shows you how important a man is. But when you look at our society, there has been a lot of empowerment to the girl child and women, but men seem to have been forgotten. You see a man who has worked so hard to bring up his family, but when he retires, he hardly lives 3, 4, 5 years. As a matter of fact, if you go to most of the homes, you'll find that men die before women. Even life expectancy, for example, in Kenya, for men, it's 70 years. For women, it's 75 years. When you analyze men, they are like the rollers. You know, when you are doing the road, there is that thing that comes to compact the road. And it does it very, very well. But once the road is tarmacked, that roller is not allowed to drive on the same road. So inaitiwa roli, inawekwa juu. Because ikipitia kwa hiyo barabara, itaharibu. But we have a chance for us men to reclaim our role. Because almost all the traditions, all the societies, they know that the man is the head of the family. But we need to live to that studying. We need to demonstrate through actions so that we don't hear some of the things that we hear in some societies, that a father has slept with a daughter, a father has raped the daughter, a father has killed an entire family, and this is his own family. Because we need to be badge of honor as men. So today we are privileged to have Reverend Agola, who is also a man, who is going to give a motivation speech about men, and I'm sure that we are going to be blessed from his presentation.
Reverend Agola, his full name is Elias Otieno Agola. He's a minister of religion. He's certified professional mediator and a consultant. Now, his academics, he has a diploma in theology and pastoral studies, that is from the Presbyterian Church. He has a bachelor's in divinity from St. Paul's University. He holds a BA in paralegal studies from Panfoster University, USA. He has a master's MSc in governance from International Leadership University of Kenya. He holds another master's and MA in conflict transformation and social justice from Queen's University in UK. He is trained in religious and corporate governance and mediation from Korat, Africa. Karibu, Reverend.
Yes, thank you, man, for being here, and thank you, Director, and your team for inviting me to speak to us on issues men. I'm aware today is an International Men's Day, and therefore I want to wish us a good day. So today, my presentation will be in three parts. The first part is that which is going to be pictorial. I will impress on us to be quick in seeing the pictures and asking ourselves questions on the pictures. It's not an exam or assessment that is going to rate you in any way, but at the same time it can rate you, because we are going to rate one another on how we get involved when we are seeing things. The second part is going to be a very brief one also, where we are going to talk about the 5 life's common issues that throw men away from themselves or even from the other people. And then the last part is we are going to talk about mentorship as the mark of holistic responsive leadership by fathers. You may not be a father today, but tomorrow you will be, because that's what God created us to be. So the first part is pictorial. Very quickly look at what you can see and answer the questions. Somebody is seeing eyes, another person. Trees, another person. Yeah? Mountain, another one. Rocks, another one. Valleys, sky, clouds. When you look at that photo, somebody will see what not many people have seen. Somebody will say that, or will give an interpretation of something, and instead of saying what they are seeing, they will be saying what they interpret. True? Life is like that. Some of us only see when others have seen, and others are the first to see. Others can be the first to see, but they are not the first to talk. So again, that distinguishes us. What do you see? Somebody is seeing a girl. Is it a girl or a young lady? Okay. Somebody is seeing a young lady. How many of you are seeing an old lady? Right, answer. Please raise it up properly. How many of you are seeing both? Both young and old. How many of you don't know what you are seeing? Because I know you are seeing, but you may not know what you are seeing. How many of you don't know what you are seeing? Okay? Good. So here in this photo, again, the same lesson. There are people who are very quick in seeing things. Others, they see, and at the same time, they do what? They communicate it. Others take a long time to see. Hata tukikaa hapa muda gani, bado hawataona. Others wataonyeshwa na waambiwe, unaona hii ni pua, hii ni mdomo, hii ni chini, lakini bado hawaoni. Hii ni macho, na hii ni jicho lingine, na hawaoni. And until you accept that you cannot see everything, or you have no capacity to see as fast as the other person, then you'll always be in trouble. And this is a big problem with us men, because sometimes we find ourselves denying something that is so obvious, denying something that we may, if given some time, we may even see more than we are seeing today, or we are seeing now. So that's a big challenge for us men. On the International Day of Men, we need to remind ourselves that there are some things that you may not be seeing, even in your house, but other people have seen it before you. Sometimes in the office, a very young person has seen something, but you, who has been there and with a lot of experience, theories and practice, and you find that you still don't see it, but somebody somewhere can pinpoint it and say, here it is, here it is. So there comes a time when in our lives there are some things we can see, some things we cannot see. Some things we understand, some things we don't understand. The most noble thing that you need to do is to accept your weakness, your inability to see what other people have seen. Let's move to another one. How many of you are seeing, okay, what are you seeing? Glasses of wine, right? Tell us what you are seeing. Yeah.
I'm seeing some people facing each other.
You are seeing people facing one another. What this means is that sometimes people may be seeing things you don't see. So when you walk into your home as a man, are you seeing the obvious? Or are you keen enough to see something that may have been introduced into that home? The biggest challenge, isn't it? So those who have not seen the faces, please take keen interest. I want to show you the faces. For every wine glass, there are two faces facing one another. It's like the wine glass is in between them. Please stand, and you, director. Come closer. Keep safe distance. So assume this is the wine glass. If this was to come up to here, and this comes up to here, then this is a face, this is a face, this is the wine glass. The wine glass is black, the face is white. What do you see? The head of a horse. Okay, a horse is associated with what? One? Running. Speed, running, elegance, wealth, high class, war, power, competition, stamina, wealth. That's what a horse is. So when you look at a man, look at something that has a horsepower in them, yes? You also see a frog. So how many of you are seeing a frog? Please stand. Na usisimame kama hujaona. Now, ukitaka kuonyesha mtu, unampeleka polepo. Yeah? We have agreed that men are like a horse, associated with all those characteristics ulisema. But in a man, there is also a frog. That is what he's saying. In a horse, in a very strong person, there is also what? A frog in you. So ukiona man who makes a lot of noise, ujue uchura imeanza kuingia. True? Ukiona man ameanza kuwa na some shida imekuwa mingi. Ukiona ana saa ile shida inaanza kuwa mingi, uchura imeingia. I mean, what are the characteristics of a frog? Jumpy. So ukiona a man anakuwa jumpy, ujue uchura imeanza kuingia. Na ingia, okay, noise, another noise. Ukiona na inaingiaga pole pole. Hebu look at that photo. Inaingia pole pole, inampindua pole pole mpaka uchura inaonekana. So how many of you are now seeing the frog? So man is somebody who is supposed to be aware of the environment. You don't just walk in and walk out. You don't just get into a relationship without knowing why you are getting in there. And if you are already in one, then you need to be aware of the surrounding and what goes around in that environment. Because that environment has a strength, at the same time it has a weakness. Are you getting it? The strength is like this, But the weakness comes slowly. It is revealed slowly by slowly. Na saa ile unajua ikianza polepole then inaendaenda, alafu baadaye utakuta imekuwa full blown. Wakati imekuwa full blown is when you will now be seeing it in true colors. But when it is like that, you just need to look into it keenly and ask yourself, what is this I'm hearing? What is this I'm seeing? Even with you as an individual, as a man, you are supposed to ask yourself, why am I drifting so much? Sometimes into alcohol, into adultery, into what we call midlife crisis. Are you noticing that something is going on with you which is not normal? Are you noticing that the values you used to uphold are now becoming a nuisance to you? Are you not seeing that you are growing old to go back? You know, when you grow up, you leave. When you grow old, you go back. And we'll come to that in retirement. And so this one tells us that in us, although we are very, very strong, we also have our weaknesses that are hidden in there. And what can help us to expose them is when we decide to carefully handle them by accepting them first. So finally, we are seeing this old person here and this other old lady here. We see this young lady here and we also see this young man here with the guitar. But there is another one here. True? Yes. This picture talks volumes. Somebody can also say, I'm seeing a carpet. Yeah? Others are seeing a blanket. Others are seeing a chalice. Others are seeing a earring. Others, instead of a earring, they will be seeing a bottle of wine, which these two people are enjoying. Is that true? So if you look at that critically, you'll be able to expose a lot of things. Men, don't rush to see things or not to see things. Take time to analyze situations. Take time, the same way this artist took time to come up with this that we are seeing. Some people are seeing a lampshade. True? Are you seeing a lampshade somewhere here? Others are seeing a chalice, that wine glass. Others can say, I'm seeing a trophy. I mean, take time to look at things and look at them critically. And that is the first part. The second part. The second thing is the 5 life's common issues that throw men off balance. There are so many, but we have only taken 5. And the first one, okay, the most dangerous thing that men fear is what? Yeah? Men appear strong to withstand everything, but what? Are you getting that? The most dangerous thing that a man fears is not even death. Men fear failure more than any other thing. For anybody to just tell man you are a failure, that can disturb that man forever. That can cause a woman their marriage. True? That can cause children their father. Just somebody sitting there and saying, you are a failure. That thing will never leave the head of a man. And men here, even young men, young boys included. You tell a man that you are a failure. That man looks at you and says, I don't know whether you understand what I'm capable of doing. Yeah? Because men fear. Men fear failure. Anybody who wants to make sense to men, just tell them they are victors. Because anything that suggests non-accomplishment is an attack to 2 things. It is an attack to the ego, and it is a threat to what? To his health. ask yourself whether there are times when somebody confronted you and depicted that you are a failure and how you behaved. So men do not want to hear anything called failure nearer, and if it is there, tell them how to deal with failure, not how they have failed. Even in class, there are some times when women beat us in some subjects or what, and we were like, oh my goodness, what is this? Because we've been socialized like that. And man does not want to hear anything a failure. And therefore, anything that suggests that this man has not accomplished anything, that one is a threat to man's ego. And that one is a threat to, it is an attack to man's ego and a threat to his health. So unaweza ona mtu anatembea na anafanya kichwa hivi na anafanya mkono hivi na ako peke yake. And they are not aware of their environment until they can be harmed just because somebody said they are a failure. So men, work on anything that would suggest that you are a failure. Work on anything that will attack your ego. Work on anything that will cause a threat to your health. Because if men don't do this, then men, we are becoming enemies of our own selves. The 5 things begin with 1, workforce resilience and work-life balance. We've worked so hard in our workplace. You wake up so early coming here. You leave so late going out there. But the balance between your life and your family is very important. And therefore 3 things. It's not a bad idea to dedicate fully at work. It is not. Is it a bad idea? It's not a bad idea. But doing it at the expense of yourself, at the expense of your family, is wrong. Number 2, secure your family fabric, even as you engage with work-related heralds. Secure your family fabric. There are some people who abandon their families just because they are working. There are some people who are absent in their own homes just because they are working. There are people who don't connect with their families just because they are working. There are people who feel so at home and at ease with colleagues at work. And those are the people they can call. Those are the people they can call baby. Those are the people they can call, yes, they can appreciate and say you are smart, you are decent, you are what. But their family is somewhere that is very pathetic. Most men risk returning home to find what? Men, are you here? Most men risk returning home to find an empty nest or being strangers in their own homes. You go home and you are a stranger. People don't know you. You have connected with any other person except your home, your family. And therefore, the blame is coming rather too late. The education is also coming rather too late. The awareness is coming rather too late. I give examples of police officers, for example, or government officials who will be transferred left, and center, and here they are in Lamu, in which other places, and the wife is just at home with the children, and the children only know the mother. Men do not even attend celebrations of their own children. Young men who are here and who are watching us or who will be listening to this recording, I would want to suggest to you that you begin early. Begin impacting the life of your family early. The way you relate with your parents now will be a reflection on how you will do it even when you have your own family. And don't copy wrong examples. If your parents were not good examples, don't copy that example. You get home and you find an empty nest. Nobody knows you, nobody can relate with you. And you are a stranger in your own home. And people look at you and they say, who is this? Who is this? In your own village, maybe back home, or in your own estate, you may find that there is a father who is known out there, but at home, nobody knows them. Until people ask, is this so and so? I mean, is this the owner of this home? Number two is competition versus competitive advantage. That's why I told you I'm coming there. Competition. Men want to compete. No wonder you all associated with the horse, isn't it? And everyone wants to be a horse, competing, outrunning, doing it, being the man, having a signature home, signature family, signature. Is that bad? It is not bad. But what are you competing with? Who are you competing with? What is it that you want to achieve in that competition? Sometimes we go back to the Bible. You know, God said, I've created man in my own image and likeness to behave like me and to do things my way, to worship me and to govern the earth. Genesis chapter 2, verse 15, I'll refer to it again in this presentation. And here you find that man is supposed to be doing what God intended him to do. And God said, let them fill the earth. Did God say that? God did not say fill the house. So when you are filling the house, you are not you are not doing God's instruction. Filling the earth means you bring your portion, I bring my portion, I bring my portion. But filling the house means are you getting it? So sometimes you are competing so much. Competition is not what we are called to do. We are called to know our competitive advantage. What is this you are good at? What is this you can do that even when the director looks at you and your pastor looks at you and your father looks at you and they say, I have these children, I have these workers, I have these colleagues, but for this particular thing, this is the only person who can do it. Unique selling preposition. Every person possesses a diverse ability. You don't have it alone, you cannot give it alone. Another person will give their portion, and you will also give your portion. Men, don't compete with others. Compete with your idea. Compete with your vision. Compete with your goal. Because we are not starting at the same level, are we? We did not start at the same level. There are some people who went to school without what? Shoes. There are some people who could not get 3 meals in a day. There are some people whose parents were that low. So for them to bring the parents up to the level and then begin their own and then their children, it has taken them some time. Am I right? But there are some people who are born with a silver spoon on their. Ilikuwa hapo anaambiwa Cerelac nini. Cerelac ni nini by the way? For some people they don't know what Cerelac is. Ilikuwa ni ile uji ya mtama na inaingizwa kwa mdomo, hata ukikataa kukunywa unafanywa hivi na unafugwa nini na unameza by force. Na the measure was to kugonga tumbo kuona kama imefanya nini, imetosha, alafu anasema sasa imetosha. Am I communicating anything? So stop these unnecessary competitions, man, because you are competing with somebody, and that's why many young people want to, they say we want to get money. They don't want to earn money. Yeah? So young people of today, some of them want to get money. And the talk is that Range Rover, that Porsche, that's what? Is it X5 or what? So when other people wanafikiria, young people wanafikiria gari ya kuingia, yeye anafikiria gari ya kupanda. Najua gari ya kupanda. Leo unainua mguu hivi, unashika hapa, unapanda. Lakini kuna watu wengine wanaambiwa ingieni gari, yani gari ya kuingia. And then you begin to ask yourself, am I really doing my best? Am I really doing the best? I mean, tunafanya kazi pamoja, tunafanya kazi ofisi moja, lakini look at what they have achieved. Don't compete with another person. Kila mtu ako na mahali amefanya nini? Ameanzia. Are you getting it? Just know your competitive advantage. It is called, there is need to understand your own USP, unique selling proposition, and avoid unwarranted competition. Don't compete with people. Compete with your ideas. Compete with what you are able to understand better. There is that strength that nobody else has. And you may be having very low education, and I'm not advocating that you don't go on studying. You may be having very low education. It doesn't matter. It is neither here nor there. For me, that does not matter. What matters is you have a competitive advantage. Number 3 is mental health. Knowing how to manage our stress, our anxiety. Mental health is the most silent killer in men. Yeah? Mwanaume anajifungia, na nasema mwanaume ni kujikaza. Amejikaza mpaka hakuna kitu mwanaume anaweza sema. Anajifungia. Young people, are you listening? Look at those expectations that those so-called babe. Just because you made a babe, and then you can do anything. Mwanaume anajikaza. Men are under the duress, under siege. Is it siege or siege? Men are under siege. They are under the duress, the force of this condition called mental health. But they find it difficult to disclose or even to seek for help. True or true? So it is time for men to do what? To open up. I like this one. Please look at it. There is an is here. There is need for an accountability partner. Is that not a very good person? Who will look at you in the face na anakuambia hapa ni ujinga uko nayo. Weka ujinga chini na ufanye kitu ambacho kinafaa. Just because mke wako alikunyima siku moja, alafu unaanza huyu nawacha. Mtu anakuambia mimi nimenyimwa mara 5. Tiga urimo. Ama you should not die because somebody has just told you that hujampatia baby girl. Are you getting it? We need an accountability partner. Somebody who will call you and say, where are you? Is that important? To have an accountability partner? Please get this. Don't tell me I have a friend. So what? Your friend may not be your accountability partner. Your wife may not be your accountability partner. I mean your spouse. Even that girlfriend that you have, those of you who claim I have a girlfriend who checks on me. Checks on what? They are not checking on anything. This is somebody who will not look at your position. This is somebody who will look at you and say, hapa umekosea. Are you getting it? It's a very simple thing, man. So we need to ask ourselves, do we have an accountability partner? Somebody will lift up a phone and tell you, how is your morning? It's 3 days I've not talked to you. It is 4 days, is everything okay? If you don't have such a person, then we need to begin coming in, because that is where we have the silent killer. Number 4 is life after retirement. Everyone is retiring. And those young men who have just started working, please know this. And even those who are not starting working, please know this. Retirement is a must. Retirement imegawanywa into several. There's retirement on medical ground, retirement on incapacity, retirement on redundancy, retirement on age, retirement on kazi imeisha. Company is gone under. And the company was enduring you, not enjoying. So when it goes under, hauajiriwi mahali pengine, because you are an employee who was being endured. We have a contract, permanent and pensionable. Na tunaomba ni siku gani company itaenda under ndio tu huyu aende. Are you getting it? So retirement is a must. Now, the retirement is meant to be a time of rest, but has turned out to be frustrating for many. It is so frustrating. Mtu alikuwa sawa na anaambiwa sasa umeretire. Unakuta mtu saa 11 ameamka, taking shower, na amevaa ni kama anaenda kazi, lakini hakuna kazi anaenda. They don't know they have retired. So we are not going to speak about retirement in retirement. We speak about retirement before retirement. Please read this. The most important asset in retirement is cash flow, not property. So secure cash flow before retirement. By the way, what does that mean? The most important thing in retirement is having cash. Not what? Not property. Even if you have all this land, or even if you have all these trees and you can cut them every time you want, you may cut them, but there is no buyer. True?
True. Very true. Very true.
You may have those plots and it's good to have them, but those plots have to be turned into a money-making what? Venture. Secure it before retirement, so that in retirement you can still have your health. In retirement you can still drive your car. In retirement you can still pay. Go to a joint with your friends. In retirement you still can go and meet somebody in a decent restaurant. The most important asset is what? Is cash flow. And that cash flow is very important. So whether it is anduthi umenunua na inakuletea pesa is better than being there and you don't have, because kama una gari utabado utakuwa umejiingiza katika class. Maintaining that class during retirement is more important. This is one of the things that kill men. The last one on this topic is called holistic responsive fatherhood leadership. Taking it as a father, doing it as a response. Response means responsibility is a response to the ability that you have, or using your ability to respond. And it is holistic. Holistic means all round. You know, there is this problem that is in the world today, and especially in Kenya just another day. It is very embarrassing to have our children ban school on a Thursday na nini inaanza Friday, midterm. Si kuna watoto walichoma shule on Tuesday. And when is the midterm? Ilianza yesterday. Wanachoma na wanaenda. And who is going to bear the burden? Is it the Ministry of Education? Is it the government? It is the parents. And they're not thinking about that child from a very poor background who does not even have fare kurudi nyumbani. The lack of holistic development and training and coaching and instilling values as fathers is what is messing up the world. Young men, we apologize to you at some point because we concentrated so much on girl child and we lifted a girl child to a particular level. Go to your village and take this to bank. Go to your village. Any educated woman does not marry an educated man, except if you have risen to a certain level. This is a call for a deliberate, and the word is deliberate. It's not something that is going to come naturally, because there are so many things in the environment, which you said, that is shaping us now. So we must make a deliberate nurturing of the future generation of men. And if we are doing it today, then the young men who are there should also do it. Because it is tomorrow that you will be referred to as an old man. You know, there's a verse I'm going to quote to you, which is a very serious verse. 1 Samuel chapter number 2 and verse number 30, 31, and 32. God had promised the house of Eli that it is going to be a house of priests. But then the children of Eli messed. You remember the story? And then verse 30 says, God said, I had promised this, but now I recant. I say, there is not even an old man who will be found in your lineage. A very serious thing. So we have to have a deliberate move to grow a future generation. So basically, these are the 5 life common issues that throw men off the balance. Workforce resilience and work versus work-life balance. Competitive advantage versus competition. Mental health. The issues of life after retirement. The issue of how we respond and train young men. And finally, the last one is mentorship. The mark of holistic, responsive leadership by fathers. If you want to see a man who is a good father, if you want to see a man who is doing it right, and being a father here, it must not be your own children. It is even other people, your place of work, people who come under you, those whom you are leading, that team that you play, your peers in the field, your colleagues. You come and make some mentorship. Allow me to suggest those 10 areas. Number 1 is memory. Whether you like it or not, one day somebody will ask you, what is the meaning of this? Okay? Whether you like it or not, whether it is at work, in the church, in the community, in the village, among your peers, somebody younger than you will always ask you, what is the meaning of this? So in mentorship, you need to hand over a well-structured and deliberate sharing of institutional memory. And this helps in clearing the vision, and it also helps in leaving a legacy. This is a skill that we need to learn from a very, very, very young age. That we need to share the memory. And this helps other people to understand our vision. This also helps us to hand down legacies down the generations. So don't keep everything at your chest. Your chest can get blown off. Don't keep everything in your head. Your head can also blow off. Number 2 in mentorship is example. In 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 12, Paul says to Timothy, do not let anybody despise you because you are young, but set yourself out as an example in speech, what you say, an example in character, what you do, an example everywhere. There are 5 areas that Paul impresses on Timothy to be an example. In mentorship, we set up to be an example. You cannot send your child akununulie ka kumi and then you expect this child hata yeye siku moja asiwe na curiosity ya kufanya nini, ya kuonja. Isn't it? Be an example. Culture is well learned by being practical, not what? Can you repeat that? Culture is learned well by being practical, not theoretical. Because the society has enough of theory-based coaches. We now need more of what? Role models. Yeah? We now need more of role models. We have our children who cannot copy what we are doing. They can't. We have our children who don't like what we are doing at all. Not because it is something bad, but because of the way we have presented it to them. How have we presented ourselves to our children? Men, we need to be men. And men here have to be an example, a role model. Let's not be so theoretical. One day, some child aliokota kitu chini. Alipookota, akakimbia nayo, akasema, Dad, chukua. Dad akachukua. Dad kuangalia. English E. Agriculture E. Mathematics E. English, Kiswahili, Science, mean aggregate. And the man was furious. At the top of his voice, he said, Mama so-and-so, come. Kuja uone. Alipokuja akasema, why are you yelling? Is this what your child can give me as a result from school? And the child was smiling. And the father asked, why are you smiling? Why are you smiling and you have such grades? Why? And he threw the paper. And he akaokota, akarudishia baba, akamwambia, Dad, soma jina. Soma jina. Are you getting it? You know, there are two groups of people who never failed in school. One are parents. So kuna parents wanasema, I was very good in mathematics, even when they know they could not understand the Pythagoras theorem. I was very good in mathematics. I was very good in English. Na ile English anaongea, by the way. Give us a break, parents. And the other group, of course, ni wale wamekufa. Have you ever read a eulogy ambayo imesema alifanya class 8 na akaanguka? Have you ever read that? Mara nyingi ni akapita vizuri. True? We now need role models. Number 3, nurturer. Proverbs chapter 22 verse 6, a very well quoted. What does it say? Train up a child in the way you want them to be, and even when they grow old, they will not depart from it. It is true. Angalia those village drunkards. Which songs do they sing anyway? They just sing the songs that their mothers taught them. True? Yeah? Sunday school songs. Those are the songs they sing. I know somebody will say, naonea Wakikuyu. Siwaonei. Utakuta mwingine anaimba, Ego kira diare Jesu. Nasa, kwa nini haimbi fundamentals? Hata wawezi imba, inone momo. Haimbi hiyo. Na anaijua. anaimba tu ile ambayo alifundishwa kwa Sunday school. Hata the Luo, I can sing for you a the Luo song, can I? Tomorrow. So Proverbs chapter 22 verse 6, it says, train up a child in the way you want them to grow, and when they grow old, they will never depart from it. True? So men, we just need to be nurturers, grow this person up, because maturity calls for nurturing and what? Mentorship. So getting involved in a very systematic training ensures measured growth and societal sanity. Getting involved. So we are not going to do it because others are doing it. No, we are going to do it in a very systematic way to ensure that there is a measured growth. Kitu yenye unaweza sema, I set out to get this, and that's what I'm getting. Why do you want your child to come home with results that you didn't anticipate? The results that are anticipated are results that have been properly orchestrated. You know that you are coming to get such a particular result. Number 4 is team player. In Psalm 133, it says how brilliant, how good, how wonderful it is for people to be together and in unity. You know, we can be together here, but we are not united. True? Yeah? We can be together, but we are not united. Some people find themselves together, and they are just cartels. They are not teams. But being a team player and a team leader is something that is so important. And that's where God will give us his blessings. So even in our homes, even in our places of work, men, we have to do something. So it takes a society to mold this society. Please take note of the article "a" and the article "the." It takes a society to mold the society. And mentorship calls for a concerted effort. Concerted effort by people who are teams, and teams are defined by purpose, by goal. Not cartels who are defined by personal what? Interests. So who are you as a man, even in your own home? Do you conspire with the children that give you some money, or do you treat them as a people that you want to grow together and mentor as a people of purpose? Number 5 is not by choice. Mentorship is not something that you do because you have no other thing to do. It is something you do because you are obligated. In Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 4, it says that there comes a time when people want you to do what their itching ears desire to hear. When you stand up to mentor somebody, or peer mentorship, or you want to mentor your younger brother or your cousin, or you want to mentor your children, or you want to mentor somebody in that place of work, as a man, being a deliberate thing, know that it is also an obligation. So you're not going to be there to sell out yourself to people for them to hear what they want to hear, but let them hear what they should hear. True? An obligation. Every grown person takes it as a responsibility to walk with a younger person and to maturity. Why? Because choices have consequences, just as rights have what? Responsibilities. Choices have consequences. So you are getting into this because if you choose not to do it, then the choices that they are going to make out of your choice will have a lot of consequences. Yeah? But again, sio haki yetu. Kama ni haki yako, then what is your responsibility? When you have a right on this right hand, then you don't have a left on the left hand. What do you have? A responsibility. Are you getting it? This other right, left hand, there is a responsibility. This other hand, there is a what? There is a what? Even you who is a mentor, you hand over the right, but at the same time you demand what? The responsibility. You say, yes, you have a right. Here it is. But on this hand, give me the what? Your responsibility. Responsibility. 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 1 to 5. Again, here they are saying it is our responsibility. We cannot leave it. We cannot leave it. It is expected that every person has no option but to engage in mentorship individually. Now, kumbuka the word individually. Before we become mentors, let me become a mentor. So it is a corporate responsibility after it has been an individual responsibility. So don't do it because another person is doing it. And don't assume another person is also doing it. It is you who is to begin, to initiate, to begin to purpose, to work with other people. And this is not only for young people. You can also work with another person who is as old as you are or even older than you. And you decide to offer something that these people will learn. Let me ask you, older people who are in the room, do you think that there is something new you can learn from a younger person? The answer is a lot, so much. So you have a lot to learn because mentorship calls for preparedness and being unwavering. Ukae ngumu kama ngumu. Na useme, hapa nitaenda. And I'm principled. We are not going to bend rules because you are 1, 2, 3. I'm going to tolerate you. I'm going to endure you, although I don't enjoy what you are doing. Yeah? I'm going to endure you and endure your character until we finally get somewhere. But the principles, they have to be there. Number 7 is stewardship. You know, God gave man power to do what? To be a steward. Stewards don't own anything. So men, you don't own anything. If you want to know you don't own anything, wait until one day you are gone. Even the phone that you love so much will not go with you to the grave. No, not even the grave, to the mortuary. Am I saying anything? How many of you have been to the mortuary? People are not dressed there. And in mortuary, there is no he or she. It is neuter. Yeah? True? Kila mtu ako hapo, ako vile alivyozaliwa. Meaning, what we have today, including the people who need us so much, those who see something good in you. I hear some old people say here, they learn a lot from the young people. And I believe the young people are also saying, we learn a lot from the older men. And any man who does not learn from any other person is only fooling themselves around. But the truth of the matter is God has given you some ability, and that is called stewardship. Mentors are duty-bound to carefully manage God's creation. Carefully manage God's creation. Managing that creation until that creation becomes dependable. So are we going to give up again? No. We are managing that and managing it with the hope that something will happen. Look at that farmer who goes to the field. I like it when I went to Kambani. I found that wanajua tu mvua inataka kuja, anachukua mbegu anaweka kwa Kambani hapa, ovaka ngundo, wanaanza tu wanaweka na hakuna mvua, Hakuna mvua. Not like the Western people, we wait until kunyeshe. Lakini kule wanaweka kabla. Ya? Na anasema hii kitu mvua itanyesha. Na kweli mvua inakuja na inanyesha na wanapata mazao. Become patient in mentorship because you are a steward until that person becomes dependable. Creation belongs to the owner, and creation must be managed according to the owner's what? Manual. And what is the manual? The Bible. If you are a Muslim, the Quran. Mentorship requires some honesty. You don't know everything. Yeah? You don't. Admitting one's weaknesses or inability to handle situations or circumstances is a strength like no other in itself. Honesty is a what? A virtue that sanitizes the skills. Sanitizer. Honesty is a virtue that sanitizes your skills. So you have your skills, but you need honesty to sanitize it. True? You have your skills. You have gone to school, no problem. You have your degrees, you have your what? You have your competencies. You have done it practically. You have a lot of theories. Nobody is disputing that. But honesty is very important. Amen? So mentorship also calls for integrity. You all know this story in Genesis chapter 39 about this man called Joseph. One of the verses there, verse 8 and verse 9, it says that I will not do this and sin against God. But how about us? When people are not seeing us, we can do anything. Some can do anything in this forest. They can even hide some people in this forest. But when God catches with you, he caught up with some people yesterday. You remember those people who sneaked out of committee? Were they not found? Even you and I will be found. Honesty, integrity, qualifications and connections can only make us popular. How many of you want to be popular? Have your qualifications. But how many of you want to be great? Develop some character and some what? Qualities. What's the difference between qualities and qualifications? What's the difference between connections and character? Substance. It is just integrity. So integrity is the test of godliness. Is the test of what you know. And finally, partnership. In Philippians chapter 1 verse 4-7, Paul is telling the Philippian church, I want to partner with you. You cannot do it alone. Once you have mentored somebody and he has become like you, then what happens? They will be doing exactly what you are doing. And don't throw them away. They need you. You need them. So when you are not going to go for that assignment or that consultancy, send that person because you have mentored that person, you've worked with them. Give them space to grow because mentors are contented when their mentees develop confidence to become a very energetic replacement for them, or a person who is now a complementing what? Colleague in the sector. Be a mentor who does not fear their own shadow. I want to say in conclusion, that is what mentorship is. Amen.